Hello, I'm Cameron Brio from Power Team Realty in Moncton, New Brunswick, and today I'll be sharing with you some stats from June 2022 for small and multifamily properties in the Greater Moncton area. Now, at the time of watching this video, I'm sure you've heard there has been a significant announcement to interest rates has affected all buyers, and a lot of the commercial buyers who are savvy investors are simply in a wait and see holding pattern. So some of the impacted stats might not fully be known because they might have had deals closing in the month of June, July, or even August, depending on what terms they had agreed upon. So some of these numbers should be taken with a grain of salt. However, the concepts, the idea of pricing, and overall market condition you can take to home. If you do have any specific questions about your own property or about the Greater Moncton area in general, please feel free to reach out to me. My details are below. So I'll jump right into it with sharing my screen and talking about the small multifamily properties first. Now, I do apologize, this is quite a long list. We are going to be honing in on the list price and sold price. And you can always pause your video to take a more in-depth look. These small and multiple door properties would be under 5 units. So they're in a separate classification, and you'll see here in the property type, duplex, triplex, and so on. So we are seeing that some of the sold prices have been lower than the listed price. And days on market represented on the right-hand side, we are seeing some of these properties in trend, 16 days, 5 days, 13 days. These would be the silver unicorns where they're being listed with very advantageous opportunities where market rents are probably a little bit higher than their neighbor, depending on the area. And tenant class and neighborhood, all of those topics I will explore in another video. But for argument's sake today, you can Google some of these addresses just to understand why a duplex would have garnered $475 being listed at $399. Again, my assumption is going to be that the markets were superior to the average market rent. Now, a few months ago, there was some announcement on market rent caps in the province of New Brunswick. That was kind of the perfect storm or the snowball that started that actually changed the mindset of how a lot of these investors are pursuing opportunities. Now, when I say investor, it's everybody from mom and pop that have owned a duplex living in one side for years, or it's a syndicated company that's coming to town offering their own financing and getting a large opportunity under contract. A lot of these buildings presented a really good opportunity because they have tremendous cash flow. The Greater Moncton area has been known for a while to generate cash flow because of the low dollar per door entry price. In turn, we did not see a lot of appreciation. I will say that appreciation really started in the last 4 years. And with that, you did see some hype that picked up in through COVID, which I think has now fully cooled off. We had a big wave of homes being listed, properties being listed, investment opportunities that were being explored nationwide from various investors. And now, as you see, even in some of these days on market, 100, 105, 45, it's starting to get up there. And then even accepting a price at 420 with a list price of 475. You have to ask some critical questions, and I'd be happy to answer any of those specific questions that you may have. So diving into it, as you can see with me scrolling, list price versus sold price, simply comparing to days on market. Obviously, we don't know what the income and expense are for these properties. Unfortunately, the statistics really can't dial down to cap rate because the publicized income and expense isn't generated as part of the listing criteria. It's a separate Excel data sheet or PDF that accompanies. So the board office simply can't input that. But if you wanted to run through a few of these scenarios and see how it fit into your own investing strategy, I'd be more than happy to pull it out for you. You could take a quick look. So moving into the multifamily. Now, I should mention that this is in the last 60 days. For deals that have closed in the last 60 days, these two data sheets are representative of that closing period. So it could have been an accepted offer, 45 days ago. They had financing as a condition, or they just had a long close to maybe perform a renovation or something of that nature within the property before closing. But again, you can see a slight softening in 5+ doors. So these would be your 6, 7, 12, 18. Not very many of them. There were 7 listings to pull in the Greater Moncton area. And of that, you do see that there is some softening in price, 36 days on market. There is a $70,000 discount given. 42 sold versus 549. Now, 77 days on market. And this, unfortunately, this listing was pulled and it is out of the immediate area, so it might be a bit of a wild card. But again, you are seeing a bit of softening in price. Now, what I will say to summarize this is that we do have quite a few properties that were speculative, or they had whisper pricing, or they were a pocket listing, whatever the popular term is. Somebody knew about it, an investor was interested in it. Those nobody is talking about right now. And if you look at some of these listings right now, and again, there is no income and expense to really dive into detail in this video, but just looking at a basic 6-unit, 799,000. This has been on market for quite some time. It is in Central Moncton. It is, a really good opportunity for someone. Now it's just a matter of, does it make sense? Income just over 61,000. If you're a 1% person, obviously the purchase price would need to be lowered to fit your criteria. 1972 brick builds, close to the Dumont, close to the hospital. I mean, this really does offer it all. Again, 49 days on market, so something's going on there. Perhaps it's a change in the market. Perhaps it's a change in the investors that are looking at these properties. We will know in time. So again, this is representative data up until June sales. Obviously, we are in the month of July right now when I'm recording this video. A lot of investors right now are waiting to see if they're holding any stock. They're probably taking a kicking, and any access to cash that they have might be stockpiled for a chance to buy. Now, with market conditions across the country, if it is an investor that is in multiple markets, they might be waiting for fire sales. They might be waiting for an opportunity to come in, buy all cash, buy the dream property that will offer cash flow at the purchase price that makes sense. Now, that could be an idea. Is that an idea for an investor to come into the Moncton area? Perhaps. We haven't seen a lot of bully or aggressive offers. We do have a lot of vendors that have their heels dug in because they simply want to see what's going to happen. They really are unaware of the future. They certainly are aware of what had happened during COVID times, and obviously they want to maximize the return on their investment. So a little bit of a wait and see. Beautiful weather outside. I don't blame investors if they're spending time with their family or traveling, because we do have less restrictions. But again, I do think that the Moncton market has a lot to offer for investors, both locally and abroad. If you are an investor and you have specific questions, I'd be more than happy to connect with you. My information is below. Again, I'm Cameron Brio from Power Team Realty. Thanks.